Welcome to Conquering Your Clownfish, a podcast dedicated to transforming disabilities into special abilities. I'm your host, Brady Murray.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Misty Coy Snyder, the co-host of this podcast, and I am really excited to introduce today's guest. She's a mom of four, an entrepreneur, and a powerful advocate for the disability community. Ashley Stringham is the founder of Myria, a baby blessing and christening outfit company. And she's also a lifestyle coach, helping fellow special needs moms find strength through healthy habits and community. When her youngest son, Carter, who you'll meet in a second, was born with trisomy 21, it was a life-changing moment. Ashley faced emotional and physical challenges, but she committed to her own healing so she could show up fully for her family. And now she helps other moms like us do the same. Through her Instagram, Getting Down in the Kitchen, Ashley shares Carter's journeys and real-life motherhood and practical wellness tips, reminding other moms they're never alone. Ashley, we are so excited to welcome you to the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And this is Carter. Can you say hi? Oh, you're going to blow kisses right away.
All the kisses I can get.
That's so nice.
Hi, Carter. I'm Misty. It's so wonderful to see you.
He loves taking kisses.
So full of love. I wish my Jed was here to give you a big virtual squeeze.
I know. Jen is so cute.
Thank you. We are so blessed, right?
We really are.
Yes. Carter, are you going to go play with something? Are you going to have fun?
Yeah, you can go play. Today is his birthday, so he is 2 today. So we've got, So it's a kind of thing.
Can we sing you happy birthday?
Should we
Happy
sing?
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carter. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Carter. You're 2 years old, yes?
Yep, he's 2. Yep.
What a
Isn't
big
that crazy?
boy. What a big
Okay.
boy. Blow
He's
out
gonna
the
go play
candles
with
later,
that.
Kig.
Can you
Say,
blow, please? Bye-bye.
what a love. My goodness, Ashley. He is so precious.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
And I'm so glad that we were able to celebrate him on his birthday. What
I
perfect.
know, right? I'm like, this is actually kind of perfect. Like, what better day to talk about Carter than on his birthday, right?
To just honor him in this way. And I love it so much. And as a fellow mom in the Down syndrome community, I remember those early years. So you are so Jed's going to be 5 in August. So I remember, I was telling you before we started, I remember just like up to 2 years old, just the whirlwind of learning curve and adventures and meeting people. And I mean, you have other kids and finding that balance and all the things. But I particularly remember those initial days so well. I had a prenatal diagnosis, but
Okay.
I want to hear about those early days when you first found out the diagnosis. And will you talk to us about what that was like in the very beginning?
Sure, I'd love to. So mine wasn't a prenatal diagnosis. It was birth diagnosis. So I had no idea that this was coming. So Carter's my 4th. Yeah, he's my 4th baby. And I had a super awesome pregnancy. Like, pride in myself. I worked out to the very last day of pregnancy. And so I was healthy, I was doing good, and I knew beforehand that I was going to go in and have a C-section. So that was already decided. So we went in and everything went great with the C-section and everything. And they pulled him out and put him on me. And at that point, I still had no idea, because they're all, just it's hard to tell what they look like at that point. And but he did have super low blood sugar, and so they were really concerned about that. So they whisked him off to the NICU. And when I was back in the recovery room, my husband came up to me and I was like, I want to see a picture of him. How's he doing? I'm like, you don't know anything that's going on. And he showed me a picture, and my heart immediately was like, why does he look like that? I'm like, "Why does he look like that? He doesn't look like any of my other babies." And my husband was like, "Well, they think that he could have Down syndrome." And of course, at that moment, you're like, "No, like they would have caught it." Like I'm like pulling up pictures of all my other babies. I'm like, they looked kind of different at that point too. And it was so cute because like the picture he showed me, he literally had his hands out like this. And they're like some of the markers of Down syndrome are they have like the crease across the hands, right? Like the straight one and the sandal toes. And it was just, he had all those things, right? So it was a lot of denial at first. And then they took me up into the NICU and I saw him and I looked at my husband and was like, he has it. And I would like to say, like, I was like, "This is awesome, like, great," but my heart broke, because there was so much grieving over the baby I thought I was going to have and, like, the life that I was gonna have, and so it was, like it was really hard but my husband said one thing, he said, "We're all he's got. We're all he's got, and we've gotta be there for him," and, like, that's just always stuck with me, I'm, like, looking at this baby and I'm like, "He's ours," like, no matter what he looks like, he's ours. So, yeah, there was a lot lot of emotions, right, at the beginning.
Yes. Well, and as I say to moms who are pregnant and have just had their babies,
Yeah,
allow yourself that space to grieve and feel the things that you're feeling because the more we sort of push them down, the more I feel like that repression makes it worse and things will come
exactly.
up later and it manifests itself in our bodies and in our minds. And so I guess I would just like to know what kind of toll do you think those initial days and those difficult emotions sort of took on you personally?
Yeah.
What did you notice?
I mean, obviously, when you have a baby, whatever kind of baby you have, it's so much, you know
So
what I
much.
mean? Like, your hormones are everywhere. I had a C-section, so the recovery was crazy. You have your milk coming in. You have other kids at home sometimes that need attention and love. I also remember at the time my husband had some crazy, like, work deal that was going on, so he was, like, trying to take care of me and my emotions and the kids at home and balancing work, and I think I'm kind of the type of personality that's like, it's okay, I'm fine, you know what I mean? Like, we're fine. But I just was numb, to be honest, like, I didn't know what to do, you know what I mean? You're just kind of in, like, this moment of complete shock. I just remember sitting in the hospital bed just being like, "What is like, why?" Like, "How's my life gonna look?" I think it's easy to go to all of the negatives at first. You're, like, looking up life expectancy, you're looking up, like, they can have dual diagnosis with autism and you know what I mean? And it's overwhelming, and then you have so many people there that are coming in and saying, "Oh, it's gonna be such a blessing, and welcome to Holland." You know what I mean? And, like, all those things, and I'm just like,
Not there yet. Yes.
you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how to feel at this moment. So I really, looking back, it was very hard and a lot of emotions, and I just felt like nobody truly understood, at that moment. But then also there were so many moments of peace too. Just being there with my husband, I just remember he just kept saying, he's like, "We've done hard stuff." Like, "We're gonna be okay. Like, it's okay that we're not okay right now, but come a few years, like, it will be okay," you know?
Yeah. How impactful that must have been to have your husband say that to you.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience with mine where when my head was swirly whirly, he was right steady, and I think that that's such a gift, right?
Yes.
Because with those hormones and all the things you just described and then some, sometimes our heads and our hearts aren't being truthful about, like, what we're capable of.
Right.
I'd be curious to know what you found in the coming days and weeks and months after that initial shock.
Yeah.
What was happening internally and what was happening externally, and I'm just so curious about the journey that's led you to where you are now.
Yeah. So there was one moment, so Carter had to stay in the NICU for a month. He had a hard time with, like, oxygen and feeding, and to be honest, I feel like that was such a blessing in disguise that he was being taken care of by professionals for a month. Because like, I went home with no baby, and it was a very weird experience going home without him, but also it gave me time to heal. I wasn't up every single night with the baby feeding him. I became like super close with our NICU nurses. Like, bless those people. And like the doctor, right? Like they were advocating for him. They loved him so much. Every time we'd come into the NICU, they'd be like, "Oh, you're Carter's mom. He's our favorite. We love Carter." You know what I mean? And so I'm like, "You guys, you're doing great here." Like, and I remember a lot of people were like, "That's so hard that he's not home." And I'm like, you know what? I need this time. I need this time to grieve. I remember getting home and I had a moment where I went through a divorce a while ago. So I'm with my second husband. So we have the two boys together, and then I have two older girls. And I remember like one moment, like just being so mad at God. And I'm like, "You've taken away the two kids that I want." Because I don't have them all the time, right? It's like a 60-40 situation. And I'm like, "And you gave me this child that I don't want." And I remember just having those moments of just being so angry, but like looking back, I'm so glad that I felt all those emotions and was able to grieve, right? Like
Yes.
denial, grief, like anger, all of those things. But there was one moment when I was in the NICU, it was like late at night, and I was just in there with Carter, and I just felt like, I don't know, I felt this overwhelming feeling like this child is going to bless your life so much. And I know it's hard right now, but like he is going to just bless you. And I had a doctor who like slipped in and he looked at me. He said, "I have a friend who has a son who has Down syndrome, and they are amazing people." Like there's just something what he said, like it was just so, he's like, "It's gonna be hard, but," he said, "you will be changed in amazing ways that I can't even explain to you." And I think that moment I was like, I'm like, "I know it'll be okay for sure."
Yeah.
And right, he's 2 now, 2 today, and I had so many people reach out. I had so many special needs moms come over with their children who had Down syndrome who told me like, "It's gonna be okay. Like, here's our 4-year-old, our 5-year-old," and like greatest joy. And those like people really lifted me, and things are great. And of course, I'm not gonna say like, "Oh, it's perfect and everything's awesome." Like, it's still a roller coaster, of
Yeah.
course, but he's the best. And he's changed our lives so much. I mean, I know you get it, right? Cute little Jed.
Can't even. I can't even. But the really beautiful thing is that, yes, of course, people will say to me a lot, "Of course, you love your son. He's your son." But when I look at Carter and when I look at other children in our community, there's no denying. There's no denying their beauty and their worth and their value and just how much joy, like you said, he infiltrated the NICU, right?
Yeah.
Just
No,
everybody was
really.
like, "We love him." There's
Don't
some
take him.
special quality there that is just so if you know it, you know it.
Yeah.
And I saw it the second Carter's face hit the screen. I was like, "I know that. I know that." I
Right.
don't know Carter, but I know that. And
Exactly. And anytime, I mean, like, no matter where we are, like, it's just amazing what joy they spread by just even looking. Like, we get so many people who come up and say, "He's so beautiful." Like, there's this one person, he was like, "Oh, he just seems like such a happy guy." I'm like, he's so happy all the time." And he was like, "He makes everyone around him happy too." And I was like, I just feel like we have these like little amazing humans that were just like too good for this world. So they just got like a free ride through life, right? In some ways. And like they're literally like their job here on earth is to make everyone around them feel joy and to feel hope. And like that's what he does. Like he just spreads joy, pure joy and love.
it really is contagious. You can see it in real time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have this new baby and you're dealing with the all the feelings, the grief and the transition and the why gods and the shaking your fist moments. What led you from there to advocating and promoting wellness and health on your platform?
Yeah. Um, so the phrase that my husband kept saying, right? Like, we're all he's got. We're all he's got. And I'm like, if I don't advocate for him, who will? Like I am the person who is his number one fan. I'm his advocate. And so when you become a special needs mom, it's something that you don't expect, right? Like being a mom in general is hard. And then when you add being a special needs mom, it's extra hard in a way. And I kind of found myself slipping a little bit, right? Because all the hormones and everything, and I wasn't eating as healthy. I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't filling my cup anymore. And I have a exercise and wellness bachelor's degree, and I also have a nursing degree. And so I have knowledge with nutrition and taking care of yourself. And I was like, what better way to like advocate for Carter as well as advocate for others and other special needs mom and do this. I've just always felt this calling to educate and help other mothers take care of themselves, because there was definitely a time in my life where I did not take care of myself. I thought it was selfish. I thought that I should give everything to my children. I didn't think it was okay to leave them ever. And I see now how backwards that was, because I was drowning. I was drowning and I wasn't the best mom. And when we are special needs moms, there's even extra things that we're doing for these children. So many appointments, there's checkups, there's therapies. And if we're not filling our cups, we can't fill their cup, you know? And so I was like, I love to cook and Carter's awesome. And I have this knowledge, like, why not just get it out there? And the more you get out there, the more people you meet and the more I'll be able to help him in life. And so, yeah, so I started getting down in the kitchen and it's been fun. I love it. I think the best part has been just meeting people, like even the opportunity to be on this podcast has been awesome. You know what I mean? Like, even connecting with you, Misty, and, like, you're cute, Jed, and I'm such a newbie at being a special needs mom, but, my husband keeps saying my husband's the best, if you can't tell yet. He's like my rock. But, there's moments where you're like, I wanna reach more people, like, and he's like, "We're in this for the long haul." He's like, "Carter's not going anywhere." He's like, "This is great." So, it's been so cool.
Well, something that you talked about, which I am so passionate about, is, yes, I'm pretty new at this journey at Jed just being 5. And there are
Yeah.
so many moms the dads and family members who go before us and have lived this life for so many more years than us. But the beauty of what I see you doing is that you're taking something that you already had gifts in, that you already had knowledge about, and you're channeling that to be able to help and serve others in our community. And what a beautiful thing, what a beautiful opportunity, because it doesn't matter if we've had a year, a day, or 50 years. If we take the things that are passionate in our hearts and we use that to serve the community in which we find ourselves in, what power and beauty in that. And I was perusing your page and I see that theme, like, you are really giving people tools. And in one of your posts on Instagram, you were speaking directly to moms like us about fueling ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually. And one of the things you mentioned in that was progress, not perfection. And this is a phrase I use all the time, almost daily in my life, because I am a perfectionist and I'm very all or nothing. I want to do it all the way, or I'm not going to do it at all. It's almost like the shame overtakes me if I can't get it perfectly. And I would just love to hear your thoughts surrounding that phrase when it comes to our wellness. That there's some mom listening right now who's like, well, that's great for her, she's figured out how to do that. But I am so overwhelmed and I'm in the hospital with my kiddo and drowning in the debt of that and the time consumption of that. How am I going to take care of myself? And isn't it selfish to choose me over my kids who I feel I've been neglecting at home while I've been in the hospital? What is something you would say to someone like that who's stuck in that I have to be perfect?
Right. I resonate so much with you because there's been so many times where I feel the same way. Like, it was a perfectionist mentality, right? Like, I'd make a checklist for the day, and if I could check off most of my things, I'm like, yes, like, I made it. I'm awesome. I'm the best mom ever. But then on the days where I didn't, I was like, you failed today.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like,
I know.
you could have been better. Why did you? And this is actually something that I was working with my therapist on specifically, and talking about how, like, focus on the wins. And the wins don't have to be huge, right? the fact that you get your kids up and give them a good breakfast. Win. You know what I mean? You're winning. And I think it's just taking those little moments and to not beat yourself up when you do need to take a break. There were times where I would put the kids down for naps, right? And I would sit on the couch and I'd be like, "Oh, I should fold clothes because 'cause I'm sitting on the couch," or, like, "I shouldn't read a book," and now I'm just like, "This is my time, and it's okay that I'm not being productive," because you are being productive just in a different way. Because if I just keep going and going and going, you're gonna run out of steam, and then your kids don't get the best of you. They just don't. So I'd say focus on the wins that you do have. Stop focusing on the things you don't do. If you don't get to the laundry, that's okay. If your house is messy, that's okay. It's okay, right? It's just focus on like those small things and also give yourself grace. Like I always tell myself there's a time and season, right? After you have a baby, we're not gonna be like some of those influencers that are like, I'm like 2 months postpartum and I've lost all my weight and I started a business. You know what I mean? Like, good for them. That's okay. And that's great. Those people are awesome. But, like, realistically, like, that you're in a season of nurturing, of taking care of this beautiful baby, of coming back to you. You have to realize, like, your hormones are crazy right now, and, like, that's okay. It's okay if you're eating more or you're not working out at the gym because you're not in that season. There's a really cool phrase. Have you heard the phrase about flamingos? So, when flamingos have babies, their pink goes away because they're giving, like, all their nutrients and everything to their baby, and so there's a phrase like, "Get your pink back," and it's okay to not have that pink at the beginning because you're just in a different phase, but those flamingos always get their pink back, you know what I mean? So, just your pink will come back, and it doesn't have to come back in a year or 2 years. I, like, tell new moms, I'm like, "Give yourself, like, a solid 2 years," you know? And, like, give yourself that grace to just, like, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Like, you're going through a lot, especially as a special needs mom. It's a lot. It's, like, added, onto already being postpartum. So, grace and focus on the wins.
I feel seen and like you're personally preaching to me. Thank you. No, it's amazing. I would say all these things to other moms and believe it.
Yeah.
But I think so many women struggle with taking those truths that they know to be true
Yeah.
and preach to be true and internalizing that and saying, even when you were saying like the grace surrounding those initial days, like you're like, duh. If you went to take food to your friend, you'd be like, what are you talking about exercising? Like, eat your
Right?
casserole and put your feet up and feed
Right?
your baby and nurture. And
Yeah.
so that nurturing, you're like, "Yes, of course," but that nurture also goes along to us as moms. We're not just nurturing the baby, we have to nurture our soul and fuel our body
Right.
and be kind and show grace to ourselves. And I still struggle with that, as a mom of a 7 and a 5-year-old. I want it all. I wanna do it all now, and I think that I see that theme a lot in our community,
Yeah.
that we're comparing and we're looking over there and going, "Well, she seems to have it together.
Right.
She's got her act together. What's wrong with me?"
Yeah.
And I just love the getting your pink back.
Isn't that so cute?
Love it so
I
much.
know. And I think it's good just to be real with yourself, and I think that's something that I've really wanted to display on my Instagram is even my mom told me, she's like, "I love your Instagram." She's like, "You're never wearing makeup and you seem really real." And I'm like, "Thanks, mom." You know what I mean? Because, like, most of the time, that's what I look like. You know
Right?
what I mean? And, like, that's okay, Like, we don't have to have I'm still in that phase of, there are some moments where it is hard with Carter, and when you do go and you see other kids that are typical or, like I had a friend had the baby at the same time and she's walking and talking and, you will have those moments of sadness still, but it is important to not compare, right? Because you're talking about that, like, comparison is a thief of joy. If
Yes.
we're constantly and even in the special needs community, right? Like, if you're even comparing your 2-year-old son who has Down syndrome to another kid
Yes.
who's 2 and they're walking and you're like, am I not doing enough therapy? Am I not like, just focus on you and your perfect little child because they're just we always say Carter's Carter. Carter's Carter. He's not anybody else. He's, you can't compare as a mother. It
It's
it will eat you.
It really will. And I mean, it's with any human being. We're going to all have our own strengths and weaknesses, right? And
Right.
so we don't have to compare. I don't have to compare myself as an actor to an athlete. We're night and day. And
Right.
there's going to be
Right.
times where I wish that I could do that amazing athletic thing and vice versa. But we are uniquely us and we have the gifts. And I love about your platform, the way your mom said, is that you're embracing who you were created to be, fueling that and channeling that to help other people. And I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot with this question, but I'm curious if you just had one message that, like, if someone comes to your page and they're just in overwhelm and it's all the new things you described, of when Carter first came here. If you had one message to give to a mom or a family member or dad who visited your page, what would you want that to be? Like one takeaway?
Oh, I love it. I'm like, "Can I say 10?"
Give me a few. Give me a few takeaways.
I think, like, the first thing that comes to my mind when you're asking that question was you're not alone, and I think I felt very isolated even though there were so many people reaching out, I still kind of felt alone, and I think that's one thing that I really want people to feel is that all those emotions, because I have so many people that are like, "Are you just so happy? Like, Carter's amazing. Like, you're so lucky. You're so blessed." And, like, I do feel those things, but I also still feel that sadness in the morning sometimes, and, like, the what ifs and all those things, and, like, that's okay to feel that way. I think sometimes moms, like, feel guilty or like, "Oh, I should be so grateful," and it's okay that you don't feel that way all the time, right? And to not beat yourself up when you do have those feelings because of course, Carter's amazing and we love him and I know he'll bless our lives and each year it gets even better of how my feelings are towards him. But just knowing that it's okay to have all those feelings and emotions. And then going back to like taking care of yourself, filling your cup. Like I want mothers to know that like if you're feeling off or you're feeling different, like listen to that intuition with yourself and like take care of yourself. And I want mothers to know that, like, eating healthy and taking care of your body and filling your cup, it doesn't have to be as intimidating as it seems, and that you can do it as a special needs mom. Because I think we get so wrapped up in all the things that we have to do, but the crazy thing is once you start taking care of yourself, it's amazing how much more clarity and a clear mind you have, and then it's almost like it opens up more space and more energy and time to do all those harder things because you feel like your best self. And so don't say, "Well, she's different. I can't do that. I can't fill my cup." You can. It's just learning how, and that's one thing I want people to find from my page is, like, giving them the skills to know how to do that.
I love that so much. I just feel that is a much needed message in our community. And I'm really grateful that you're sharing what you are because I know there's someone who needs to hear it. I need to hear it. So I know there's someone else who needs to hear it. I want to know specifically, as you've talked about this journey with Carter, what has been, I mean, you've shared about the happiness and the joy. How have you felt yourself transform as his mom in terms of maybe things that you didn't know about yourself or ways in which you've been challenged? What has he opened up?
I love that question because, like, I felt like he's changed me so much. Already, I posted last night about him turning 2, and I said in there, I said, "I went in one person. I went into the hospital as one person and came out a different person." Because I think Carter's helped me realize, like, why we're here and how we're here to serve and to love, and that I mean, he's 2, right? He's only 2. but he has no guile. He is so forgiving. He smiles at everybody, and just I feel like these people are just so outwardly focused because they're not thinking about themselves, right? Like they just love. And I think it's helped me realize that I want to be a better person. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I really do think that these people come down to teach us and to help us learn." And so sometimes I'm like, "God, you like gave me him? How did you entrust me? Like, I need to step up and be a better person because you gave me one of like the coolest, best little spirits, and I want to be deserving of his mom. I want to make him proud." And so I think I've learned more empathy. Like anytime I see other parents have special needs children, I literally like go talk to them and like want to hug them and be like, "I see you. You're incredible. You're amazing." Just so much more empathy. And like, instead of like focusing on just outward appearance and like, "Oh, I want to be prestigious and money and glamorous." Like, I just want to be good. And I want to be kind and I want to be like I want people to be like, "Carter's she's Carter she's Carter's mom because she's a good person." Like I want people to associate and be like, "Of course she would have Carter because she's awesome." You know? Like I just want to step it up and be deserving of the title of being Carter's mom. So yeah, it just changes you. And he's 2. Man, I like look at kids that are older and I'm like, this kid is going to teach us so much, And it humbles you and man, yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I saw the way that he looks at you, and I want you to know on his second birthday, you are making him proud. You are making him proud, and more so,
Thank
he just
you.
loves you. Like you see it all over his face, and you see it in the way that your eyes light up that he has changed you and that you're changing each other. I think
Yeah.
the beauty of parenthood is that we can't stay the same. We just can't. It's pretty self-sacrificing in a lot of ways, but
Right.
particularly, as you said, on this journey, there's gonna be changes, and we would hope that they would be good changes, that would be
Yeah.
kinder, softer,
Right.
brighter people
Right.
because of our kids. And don't you feel that way in every way?
Yeah. Exactly, and the way he even changed, like, I look at my younger children as well, and, like, the way that they are around other people now, like, they're so aware, they're like, "Oh, that kid has Down syndrome, like, oh, he's so sweet," and, like, they're so empathetic, you know what I mean? I'm like, I think it's so cool that they get to go through this life as well having Carter,
Yes.
Just, like, the way they change even, like, a 4-year-old, you know what I mean? It's just amazing.
Yes, it's a gift, and it's a gift to be in community together and to be able to see how other moms and dads are looking to influence the world for good
Yeah.
after being on this journey. And I'm so, so grateful for you and this ride that you've been on. I know it sounds very up and down and all around. And I think that's part of what makes it so beautiful,
Yeah.
right? That
Yep.
it's not predictable. And it goes with that progress, not perfection,
Mhm.
one day at a time, one step at a time, doing the next right thing. And I
Yep.
think that totally falls in line with your mission to just do the next right thing for yourself as a mom, to
Yeah.
care for yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like to not get overwhelmed with the all the for me, if I start going down the meal plans and the scheduling and my head starts to go,
Right.
a little bonkers, but knowing that you could just make the next right choice. Maybe that's a start to getting
There
your
you go.
pink back?
Yeah. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? You gotta fill that cup.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've filled mine today, and I'm super grateful that you've come on the show, and, I just wish you all the best and hope Carter has such a beautiful birthday, and happy 2 years to you, mama.
Thank
Happy 2
you.
years.
You're so sweet. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, and I've seen your beautiful page with Jed, and he's just
Thank
such a joy
you.
and a light, and the community is like none other, right? It's
Yes,
amazing, and we need that support.
we do, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashley, for all you're doing, and we are so grateful for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Conquering Your Clownfish. If you liked what we discussed on the podcast today and want to continue the conversation, please visit us at conqueringyourclownfish.com. And please don't forget to subscribe.